welcome to this afternoon blended Scotch whiskey taste challenge. I have two blended whiskeys. One is very well known, one is not particularly well known. Here's the famous Johnnie Walker Blue Label, introduced in 1992. It has a blue glass bottle. The bottle is blue. The whiskey is golden amber. Johnnie Walker Blue Label blended Scotch whiskey, distilled, blended, and bottled in Scotland. John Walker and Sons Limited. By appointment to Her Majesty the Queen, Scotch whiskey distillers. Well, I don't know, like I said in the previous video, I don't know if once the king or queen dies, if the royal warrant carries over to the new monarch, if they have to reapply. One day, if I can remember, I'll do the research. Bottle number FF7 space 23383. John Walker and Sons Limited, Scotland. Alexander Walker in 1888 stated, "Our blend cannot be beat. Guaranteed the same quality throughout the world, 40% alcohol." They're claiming their quality cannot be beat. No age statement. And it is owned by Diageo these days. And this was $226 plus tax. And I just looked on Total Wine and More, and it's going for $268. So it's over $40 more expensive now than when I bought it. I don't know, man. Here is Cutty Sark Prohibition Edition blended Scotch whiskey. So this was introduced in 1992. This was introduced in 2013. 2013 for the anniversary of the end of Prohibition. 80th anniversary. It's 100 proof. No age statement. Aged in ex-American sherry barrels for a number of years. What sherry? Well, when I taste it, it tastes like Taylor sherry. You say Taylor? Yeah, Taylor. And it's a real hunk of cork. It's not pressed cork. It's real cork. I got a great deal on this. I got this liter bottle for $27 at Acquista Paces. $27. The $226 plus tax was at Savannah Discount. So this was in Covington, Louisiana, purchased, and this was purchased in Marrero, Louisiana. This was on United States Highway 190 eastbound business route, and on Louisiana Highway 45 northbound, in case you really want to get specific. Okay. Let's get on with it. Now, Cutty Sark has gone through different ownerships, and now it's owned by a company called Glen Turner. They have an interesting website, but if you look at it, then you want to buy everything they have. Like, you're like, look at all the Scotch whiskeys we make, and they show all these different brands, and then you'd be saying to yourself, I want to try that. I want to try that. You know, it's like enticing. Now, this has a foil cap cover. And it's a cork, but it's that press board cork. I call it press board. You know, it's like little chips of cork that are held together by some kind of resin. Obviously, safe for humans, but see what I mean? It's like little chips of cork. And then it's got this little string tied to the cork so that you can rip open the heavy foil, high-grade foil. Well, we're getting to the end. Only about, what, 3 more taste challenges left, and then no more Johnnie Walker Blue Label. People say, are you going to repurchase it? No, because I got to do the platinum, the green label, the 18-year age. I skipped the fire and ice and the whatever that was, the winter green. You know what I'm saying? They had the 2 Game of Thrones. I skipped those because I said, well, those are specialty items dedicated to a television show, which I never watched in my life. but I could have got them so cheap at Walmart. But I can't, you can't get everything. And instead of getting the specialty items, I'd rather get the main line. I mean, this is a main line. This is one of their core products, but it's it's expensive. Hey, but Total Wine has the King George V edition, Johnnie Walker Blue Label King George V, and it's not in a blue label. And it's $599. $559, sorry. I think $559. What a deal. What a deal. Well, they both golden. So the color won't matter. Are they non-chill filtered? I don't think so, or they would tell you that. Yeah, King George V. $559.99. $560. Woo. But it's out of stock anyway. Blue label's out of stock. The black label's out of stock. Oh, that's a little while. No. Oh, well, I'm not even going to worry about that. So I've got the tasting notes brought up. We'll see if what I'm tasting matches that, but I'm not going to read them. I hear sirens on this beautiful day. Clear blue skies, low humidity, about 70. Saying right there, 81 degrees. I think it's 70. Yeah, about 81. That's my kind of temperature. Warm, comfortable. It's 53 this morning. Not too hot. You can have the windows open. You don't need to be running the air conditioner. All right. Who's going to win? Well, you would hope the Johnnie Walker Blue Label, since I paid $242 after tax. But you never know. It doesn't really, I mean, they're never going to live up to that price. Now, the King George V edition, yeah, he was the king from what? King George was the king from 1910 to 1936. Yeah, 26 years. That family had a history of heavy smoking. Edward VII, King George V, Edward VIII, I think he did. George VI, they were puffers. No, inhalers. They didn't puff. And Margaret, Princess Margaret, the second daughter, she didn't just smoke either. She liked to deal with some other accoutrements. But, but I don't want to talk bad about people, but people say, look at you, you drinking whiskey. I know, I get that, but I'm saying, when I say heavy, I mean like, one cigar is going out, you lighten the next one. And it's first thing they pick up in the morning, last thing they lay down at night. They're pretty into it, but they seem kind of high strung, that family, they kind of wound tight. But maybe they got a lot to worry about. Trying to run the world, that puts the stress on you, I guess. Because you ain't never going to run it. You're never going to really run it. You just think you're going to run it. All right, anyway, all right. Yeah, it smells, kind of vacant. It just smells kind of... It's sort of like fermented grain, but then it's like a hollow area in it. That's strange. Is it a bad smell? It isn't a bad smell. Just like a neutral. It's like there is no smell. I was watching the Buffalo Bills at the Baltimore Ravens, and Buffalo kicked a field goal to win it at the end. And then I saw the Dallas Cowboys were whipping up on the Washington Redskins, 25-10, with their new ugly uniforms. And if the NFL is really good for coming out with ugly uniforms, but they and they got their little pretend nickname, the Manders. The Manders. I don't think that sounds too nice. The Manders. Oh, let's go watch the Manders play. Well, I'd rather go see the Redskins. I'm not gonna play those games, those little word games. The Manders. But the thing about the Ravens, Baltimore, and Buffalo, I was thinking, here's two teams that originally were not in the NFL. They joined the NFL from other leagues. That's right. Oh, this is bolder, more pungent, more full in the nose. And this is the Cutty Sark Prohibition Edition. I'm telling you right now, and I'm going to call it before I even taste it. There's a Johnny Walker. Oh, you got me good. I was overconfident. Oh man, you don't play around with Johnny Walker Blue Label, or you're gonna get played. I guess I got overconfident. I got too you say it's hubris. It's hubris. It's like the Greeks taught. The gods are getting you now. Yes, something like that. So the Cleveland Browns were in the All-America Football Conference from 1946 to 49. And after 4 seasons, they merged with the NFL. Well, the strong teams did. The other teams, they just let the players go in like a lottery draft type thing. But the San Francisco 49ers joined the NFL from that other conference. And also the Browns and other teams. And the Buffalo Bills from 1960 to 69 were in a different league called the American Football League, now called the American Football Conference, when they joined the NFL in 1970. All the teams in one big lump joined the NFL. And so you had 2 teams playing that originally were not in that National Socialist Football League. Okay. Boy, the aroma got me fooled. I thought the vacant aroma was the doggone Johnny Walker Blue Label, and the full aroma was the Blue Label. Oh, well, it's funny. I keep going against my own teaching. I say never presume, don't jump the gun. Mother Superior, jump the gun. Just relax, cool it. But I don't do it. See, I don't follow my own advice. Like Blue Oyster Cult said in 1988, I am the one you warned me of. I am the one you warned me of. Honey, fermented whiskey. I thought I had this nailed. I would have gotten it right if I'd have just waited. But we can't wait. Like Michael Corleone said, we can't wait. But I could have waited. It's smooth. It's mellow. It's 100 proof. I'd have tasted 100 proof if I'd have just tasted it. Well, you see it in football teams just like, why did they do that? We were overconfident. Huh? Well, they'll never admit that. The coach is not going to say that, but they'll say, oh, I need to do a better job in preparation and so forth. But being overconfident is part of that preparation. Okay, I'm sure Kansas State thought, we're going to beat Tulane. Tulane, that little independent, that little private school from New Orleans, but they're bad teams every year. Oh, it will be no problem. I know they're kicking themselves now because they could be undefeated. Imagine Kansas State undefeated. They could be undefeated right now. Coulda, woulda, shoulda. Smoke. Okay. All right. I apologize. I mean, this thing is killer. It's killer. It's so elaborate. It's got the smoke. It's savory. See, I always forget that. It's got this savoriness. It's got this depth of flavor. Cutty Sark, it's nice. $27 for a liter. Great deal. Got a great deal. 100 proof. No age statement. It's nice. But compared to the Johnnie Walker Blue Label, it's a joke. I mean, Johnnie Walker Blue Label, like they say, we got whiskeys that's over 50 years old. Now it's 70 years old. So it's been on the market 20 years. And when they age them 70 years, it makes a difference. I mean, this thing is just on point. I don't know about $250 on point, but you say, is it the smoothest whiskey you ever had? Most likely, yes. It's creamy, it's savory, it's the water. You taste the water, but it's like from a cold Scottish stream, maybe something like that. All right, Jordy's Den. Hey, Ronald, hope you're good. Mug, beer mug, foamy beer mug, and smiley face wearing sunglasses. Hello, Jordy. I'm drinking products from Scotland, but not beer. But I did beer earlier. Got some coming up. But this is Scottish whiskey blended. They blend different types together. Some people take offense to that. I don't know why, but they got hangups like blended. Oh no, I only drink single malt. And you say, well, why is that? Well, blended, they blend stuff. Okay, you eat food. It's a lot of different ingredients blended together. And I don't understand the conniption fit on that. Now, the Cutty Sark is nice. It's got the honey. Now, I mean, they're talking about things on their website that I can't understand, that I can't process, like complex layers of soft, ripe citrus fruits dipped in fresh honey and dusted with fragrant spices with creamy, mouth-coating richness, hints of toffee with mouth-watering, playful, peppery notes. Oh, you're going to get an F in English class with all of that when you go to college. Prohibition delightfully tingles the edges of the tongue. Well, it's nice, and I like it, but I don't know about all this elaboration. Now, let's see what they say about Johnnie Walker Blue Label. The smell, waves. You see, did these people all go to the same school? Are they all related? Because I'm telling you, every whiskey or rum or brandy, etc., website that I read, it's the same type approach. Waves of spice give way to vanilla and honey. Here we go again with vanilla and honey. The taste is caramel and hazelnuts, which course through dark chocolate. The finish is luxuriously long, warming, smoky. Oh, man. Well, I don't know about all that. I like some Johnnie Walker every once in a while, says voice, TUH voice. Jordy's Den said, hope you have a good night, sir. I'm off to the shops for beer. Jordy is off to the shops for beer. I don't know what shops they have in Scotland, but I'm sure they are full of beer. Have you reviewed any vodkas? Well, I don't really deal with vodka. I know there's some websites that's all they deal with. And really, you could make a YouTube career just doing vodka and you get a lot of views. And if you were fair about it, yeah, it would be a very good thing. And but it's just not my type of product. But I have reviewed a few. Taka 80 proof, Taka 100 proof. I've reviewed Crown Rust Vodka, which used to be a Seagram's brand, but they sold it to Sazerac in 1989. I've reviewed Katz and Bestall Vodka, but not on air. That was before I did videos. It was all right. I've done Yeah, I don't think I did too many others. I got Seagram's vodka in the freezer. Seagram's vodka. The Seagram's gin is like really popular. The #1 selling gin in America, Seagram's London Dry Gin. But I got the vodka, the red, white, and blue label. You know that with the flag. That's it sells. People buy it. It's not like real big, but yeah, I'm gonna try it. I'm sure it's good. Seagram's. Oh, I've done Wheatley. Yeah, Wheatley vodka on the Hangouts. Like Fernando Friday. It was a very nice product. That's understandable. Yeah. So, you just kind of pick what you enjoy more. Kettle One, very popular one. Yeah, I mean, you see, we get so many vodkas around here. I mean, Louisiana is like a vodka paradise. You mean like a hell? It's vodka hell because people would drink too much. It could be that. It could turn into that. Dark Eyes vodka gets cropped on a lot, kind of like early times bourbon. Well, early times whiskey means not a bourbon, but it's an okay product. Yeah, I believe that. I never heard of Dark Eyes, but I believe what you're saying. All right, let's finish this up. Yeah, so I tricked myself. I screwed myself up on this. This was stupid because I could have nailed it easily, but that's too bad. But I didn't nail it easily. I don't go back and say, well, I'll just count it as a win. No, it's not a win. Can I tell them apart? Oh, yeah, with no problem. It's a snap. But I didn't. I called it on aroma only, and I got mixed up. And that's too bad for me. It's definitely going to be the only loss I'm going to have in this Scotch whiskey taste challenge, though. I promise you that. But I'm gonna be more careful. I'm gonna be less like arrogant or whatever. But is Cutty Sark Prohibition Edition something to buy? It is. Is it worth seeking out? Well, I don't really think you have to seek it out so much. It's not sold in my town, but I live in a small town. Not tiny, but less than 30,000 people. So you live in a town with less than 30,000 people, you're not going to get a huge variety, although our variety is much bigger than you would believe or expect. But that's because we've got a lot of people that transition through here. They don't live here long, but they come through a couple of years because they'll work for Marathon or DuPont or Nalco or one of the big Shell Oil, Shell Chemical, one of the big refineries. But they may not be counted as residents. Some of them might only work here a month as on a special project or whatever they do. And but they know they're here and they'll come in to Walmart. So Walmart puts a lot of product on the shelf and they'll buy it up. Plus we're on major highways, so you just got people traveling through, like literally just traveling through, not living here or working here. They just stop and say, well, let's get something to eat. And they'll go looking around or get something and they'll buy stuff. So there's that too. But I mean, compared to New Orleans, we don't get much. New Orleans with 1 million people in their metro area, I mean, they get a lot of products. You say 1 million, that's not a lot. I know, but it is for here. It's not like Houston, which you could never. What is Houston, the 4th largest city in the United States? You could never even grasp how much they have. You could never obviously cover everything that you could find there. It's not possible. It cannot happen. It's not a particularly beautiful city. It's spread out. Most of the buildings are new. It's not like old buildings, historic buildings. I used to always criticize Houston, say Houston ain't nothing but strip malls and subdivisions. It's true, but I kind of sold them a little bit short. As usual, there's a little bit more to it. And I like to go there. I do like to go there. And it's 5 hours, 5 to 6 hours from here, 5 on the low end, but more like 6. And yeah, so Johnny Walker Blue Label is triumphant here. I mean, I don't know if it's like some kind of like psychosomatic or some kind of unconscious anger about paying the $226 plus tax. You know what I mean? Like, And in my unconscious mind, I wanna say bad things about it and like make it lose because I paid so much. You know what I mean? Like I want to say, oh yeah, it doesn't live up. It doesn't really justify the price, right? So I'm thinking that, not consciously, subconsciously, say, oh no, now we got Sigmund Freud on the internet. Yeah, somewhat like that. But then when you taste it blind, that's important. Then you can get shocked, and I got shocked today. But oh well, I deserve it. So, Johnny Walker Blue Label, the champion, the all-time greatest blended Scotch I ever tried. True story. Um, it's getting low. Well, we got 2 more taste challenges. Yeah, probably about 2, and that's about it. Cutty Sark, really nice product. Like I said, if you live around New Orleans, you probably won't have to look for it. It'll be around in the stores. But I had to get it down there because it's not sold in my town. Cutty Sark, oh yeah, I mean yeah, we can get that. That's not an issue, but that's a common thing. All right, last comments and we out of here. I forgot Early Times is a blended whiskey. No, it's not a blended whiskey. Well, okay, that's a little bit of a tricky concept. There may be different barrels blended together of, let's say, various ages. Okay. And it is constructed as a bourbon in the sense that it's at least 51% corn. In other words, it would be a bourbon, but there's one little problem. The barrels are used barrels. So it's aged in old bourbon barrels. Like maybe they aged, like Buffalo Trace. And then when those were finished, they put Early Times in it. You say, well, it's still a bourbon. It uses mostly corn. They have a little rye. They have a little malted barley whiskey, like they would call in Scotland, a single malt or wheat. Yeah, but by the law, and the law is important because it sets the parameters. By law, it cannot be called a bourbon because it's aged in used barrels. So they call it a whiskey, Early Times whiskey. Does it taste like bourbon? Yeah, because it is, except not legally, right? Okay, but when we say blended American whiskey, it's a different animal in a sense, because American blended whiskey is allowed to have up to 80%, doesn't require it, up to 80% unaged grain liquor. So in other words, you could take corn or any other grain, doesn't have to be corn, but they use corn because it's cheapest. But you take corn, you distill it into a clear, odorless, colorless liquid. People say vodka, but it's not vodka yet. It's grain spirits. Because vodka, if you would take the time to read the Tax and Trade Bureau website, vodka is a different product. Not that different, but it is different due to processing, or if you live in Canada, processing. So in America, not in Canada, not in Ireland, not in Scotland or England or whatever, but in the United States of America, you can take 80% of the product can be 80% grain neutral spirits, unaged, raw. All they did was distill it. So it's clear. It's never been put in a barrel. And you could just blend it with straight whiskey. Could be like, Buffalo Trace, 3-year age, 4-year age, whatever. Jack Daniels, 4-year age. Blend it, whatever kind of equipment they have to expertly blend it. Bottle it, put it on the shelf, and sell it. You say, well, what kind of product is that? It's allowed. They add coloring to make it darker. They add flavoring, such as sherry. They call it blending sherry. Imagine. I'd like to find some of that stuff in a store. I'll never be able to. It's a wholesale product. But and then they sell it. They have. I'm thinking about going buy another bottle of Beam's 8-star. You say Jim Beam? Not Jim Beam. Beams 8-star. It's made by the same company, but it's a blended whiskey, and it's used to be 75% grain spirits. Now they jumped it up to 80. In other words, they cheapened it. It's only aged 2 years. 2 years for the straight bourbon in it. You say, ooh. But you know what? It's not bad. It's not bad. It's not great, but it's not bad. So, yeah, for $8.99 a liter, yeah, I'll buy it. Why not? What the heck? What is your favorite Oktoberfest beer? James Curling asks. It's hard to say. Fine Stefaner does a great job, but so does Paul Honor, so does Hacker Pashore. Yeah, those people do great. Spaten Oktoberfest beer. They're Ermartzen, the Eyinger Ermartzen. They're all great. So it's hard to say. Nicholas Fumari says 5 to 6 hours to Houston is a nice weekend trip. It is, because I could leave on a Friday. I take off for work on a Friday, leave at 5 in the morning. I wake up early, so 5 in the morning. I'd be there for 11. I'm there for lunch. And look at all the good Mexican restaurants in Houston, and there's a lot of them. And yeah, and you do stuff all day long. Go do stuff the next day and come home the third day. Yeah, it's a snap. And then you could take the old Highway 90, instead of taking the Interstate 10. And you can see a lot more stuff on there, so that's interesting. I did that the last time in May, and I went on that. I went to the National Wildlife Refuge, Trinity River National Wildlife Refuge, which is huge, right off the highway. And that trail. I was going down that trail, and after a while, I was like, man, this trail is going too deep. It's like I'm gonna get turned around or I'll get lost or something. Like not really get lost, but like it's getting a little bit scary. So I turned around, but I did see one bayou and one river. Well, it was nice. I mean, it was something else, but you wouldn't see it on Interstate 10. There's an exit. You can go to this other wildlife refuge, which is similar to a national park. It is basically the same thing, but they're run by different divisions. The Fish and Wildlife Service versus the National Park Service, although they're part of the same Department of the Interior. They both have rangers, park rangers, and yeah, it's really fascinating. But anyway, Houston is dynamite. If you like to go see interesting things, yes. Mm-hmm. But like you say, 5.5 to 6 hours, yeah, it's worth it. It's easier than flying, because if you fly, you say, well, it's only an hour flight. Yeah, but you got to drive to the airport and park, and then wait for 2 hours. You got to get there 2 hours early, so that's 2 hours. Then you're on the flight. That's 3 hours, if it's not delayed, and it's going to cost you a lot of money. And if you drive, it's five. I mean, it could be a wreck or something, but you could drive there with one tank. I filled my car up the other day, $28. You ain't going to drive to Houston and back. You're not going to go to Houston and back on an airplane for $58, $56 to $58. No, all the best from Derbyshire, says Mark Lockwood. All the best to you. We all take care now. Go watch the evening NFL games. So we'll be back soon enough for another whiskey taste challenge, and we got Cutty Sark Prohibition Repeal versus Johnny Walker Double Black, or is it the Gold Label Reserve? Well, whichever one came first. I think the Double Black came out before the Gold Label Reserve. Wasn't the Double Black introduced in 2010? I think so.